Tried to end my affair quietly, hoping to spare my husband any more pain, but he walked in on my final meeting with my affair partner. The look in his eyes broke me. And I thought it couldn't get worse until I realized he was already 2 steps ahead, and his revenge had just begun. The final goodbye that wasn't final enough. I didn't wear makeup that day. I didn't bother with perfume or the dress he once said made him weak. I wanted to make it clear, this wasn't a date. It was closure. I sat across from Nathan in the corner booth of a small Italian cafe, the same place where we first crossed a line we should have never approached. "This has to end," I said, my voice firm. He raised an eyebrow, sipping his espresso like he'd heard it before. "Claire, come on." "No, I mean it. My husband, he doesn't deserve more pain. He's been nothing but good to me." Nathan leaned in. "Then why did you stray?" I looked away, ashamed. I had no answer. Not one that made sense. Just loneliness, boredom, selfishness dressed up as emotional confusion. The warning signs I didn't notice, the silver SUV pulling up across the street, the figure stepping out, hands in his coat pockets, watching from behind the cafe window. I was too busy trying to end something I should have never started. To his credit, Nathan didn't argue. He stood, dropped some cash on the table, and leaned down one last time. "Tell your husband I'm sorry." He was too blind to see what he had. "Goodbye, Claire." I flinched. His words weren't romantic. They were venom, final jabs from a man who knew he lost. I sighed and grabbed my bag, relieved. But as I turned toward the exit, I froze. The moment he saw her. Just inside the cafe doors stood my husband, Ethan. Expression blank, eyes unreadable. No shouting, no questions, just stillness. Time stopped for a moment. I thought I imagined him. Then his gaze slowly moved from Nathan's empty seat to me. He didn't speak. Didn't blink. He just turned around and walked out. The ride home. I caught up to him just before he reached the car. "Ethan, wait. Please, let me explain." He didn't turn around. Didn't even pause. Just got in, started the engine, and drove. I stood on the sidewalk, helpless, my heart racing, because in that moment, I realized something chilling. He hadn't been caught off guard. He hadn't been coming to surprise me. He'd known. And he came to see it for himself. Silence that hits harder than screams. I didn't sleep that night. The sheets were untouched on his side of the bed. His phone gone. His closet half empty. I called, no answer. I texted, delivered, never read. I sat on the stairs watching the door, hoping I'd hear the familiar sound of his car pulling into the driveway. But nothing. It wasn't just anger. It was strategy. Ethan wasn't going to yell. He wasn't going to throw things or cry. He was going to vanish on his terms, leaving only damage behind. The ice-cold move. By morning, I thought maybe he'd stayed at a friend's instead. Then I got an alert on my phone, joint account access removed, admin permissions changed. What? I scrambled to open the banking app, locked out. Then the email, your password was changed due to a security request. I tried to call the bank. They asked for security verification, which had been changed too. He had locked me out. And I knew Ethan. If he did that, he was far from finished. The lawyer's doorstep, desperate. I drove to the one person I thought might be able to calm this, his older sister, Mara. She had always been kind to me, supportive. She even helped plan our wedding. When she opened the door and saw me, her smile didn't reach her eyes. "Claire," she said stiffly, "I think it's best if we don't talk." "Mara, please. I made a mistake. I was ending it. He just showed up." "You were ending it after you'd already gutted him." I flinched. "Do you know what Ethan's been through? The silent years where he thought he wasn't enough? The therapy sessions he never told you about, trying to be better for you?" Tears blurred my vision. "He's not angry anymore," she said quietly. "And that's what should terrify you." She closed the door. For the first time, I felt like the ground beneath my life had begun to crack. The divorce bombshell. The next day it arrived, an envelope, thick, legal. Inside, divorce papers. Already notarized. Already filed. Filed 2 weeks ago, before the cafe, before I ended it. Which meant he'd known. He'd known everything. The fall was already engineered. I held the divorce papers in shaking hands. Filed. Finalized. Strategized. He'd already signed them. He had moved on from heartbreak to precision, a man now focused not on salvaging a marriage but on dismantling a betrayal. I raced to call the attorney listed. "I'm sorry, ma'am. Ethan Wallace requested all communication be handled through counsel. He will not be speaking with you directly. But this is a mistake. He can't just cut me out." According to his file, he's already withdrawn from the joint accounts, transferred ownership of his assets, and filed for a protection order on all inherited properties. Protection order? I was spiraling. And it was just getting worse. The job that disappeared. At work, things were off. People didn't meet my eyes in the break room. Whispers stopped when I entered. Then came the email from HR. "Please report to conference room B at 3 p.m. for an unscheduled meeting regarding your professional conduct." I nearly vomited. At 3 p.m., I stepped into the room to find my manager, the HR director, and a printed dossier on the table with my name on the cover. Inside, screenshots, photos, anonymous tips. My affair wasn't just private anymore. It was broadcast. These were submitted through our whistleblower system, the HR rep said carefully. We are opening an internal ethics review. You're being placed on administrative leave. My world was crumbling in real time. And Ethan hadn't said a word. The final storage box. When I returned home, something was waiting on the porch. A medium-sized storage box with my name written in Ethan's clean, sharp handwriting. I found my wedding dress dry cleaned, sealed a flash drive, and a simple folded note. You chose to meet him one more time. This is my one last gift to you. Don't contact me again. I stared at the flash drive, hands trembling. What was on it? Photos? Emails? Numbers? Video? The cafe footage. I plugged it into my laptop. He had recorded me. He had been there the entire time, not just when he walked in. A hidden camera was already placed at our table. There I was, talking to Nathan, telling him it was over, looking conflicted, trying to save face. And then Ethan's entrance. That haunting silence. The entire moment edited like a film. The ending screen read, "Closure is a luxury you no longer get to have." The reckoning. The video went viral, not immediately, not on YouTube, not with my name plastered across the front page, but in my world, my career, my circle, my community. It spread like wildfire. Colleagues, clients, friends, everywhere I turned, someone had seen it. Not because Ethan posted it publicly, but because he shared it precisely, privately, quietly, to the right people at the right time. With no explanation needed, they called it the silent divorce. Behind my back, the fallout began. My company didn't even wait for the ethics review to finish. They terminated me without prejudice. My inbox was deleted, my key card revoked, even the parking pass was disabled. I had to call a friend just to get my car out of the garage. The whispers became avoidance. Avoidance became isolation. No invites, no replies, no mercy, the family freeze. When I called my sister, she picked up hesitantly. "Claire, what were you thinking?" "I made a mistake, I know that." "No," she cut in, her voice sharp. "A mistake is leaving a window open in a storm. What you did was bring the flood inside and hope no one noticed." Even my parents had heard. My father, who once walked me down the aisle with pride, now refused to answer the phone. Only my mother responded, in a single crushing text, "You broke him, and now you're breaking us." Then, to twist the knife, I saw it, a YouTube channel, low-key, anonymous, subtle, titled The Cost of Silence. The very first video, the cafe footage, edited, narrated, structured like a cautionary tale. It blurred my name, my face, but those who knew me recognized the voiceover. At the end, it wasn't Ethan, but his words read aloud. "You don't have to scream to be heard. You don't need revenge to find peace. You just have to walk away with purpose and let them collapse under the weight of their own choices." What's left? I live in a studio now, small, clean, quiet. I scrub dishes for cash. I eat instant noodles. I haven't seen or heard from Ethan since that video, but I think about him every day. Not because I want him back, but because he did what I never expected. He didn't destroy me. He simply let me destroy myself. Echoes of a man who said nothing. I didn't know what day it was. I woke up to the sound of my neighbor's TV through the thin wall, news, weather, some ad about wellness retreats. But in my apartment, no sound, just the buzz of the refrigerator, the soft hum of loneliness. The interview that shattered me found me by accident, a podcast I used to love. The host had a special guest that week, Ethan Wallace. Yes, that Ethan. They introduced him as a silent strategist and emotional architect. "You were known for your restraint," the host said, "especially in personal matters. Can I ask, how do you handle betrayal?" Ethan didn't hesitate, with distance, with planning, with silence. The host laughed nervously. "That's chilling. It's efficient." Ethan replied. He didn't name me, not once, but every answer felt like it was written on my skin. He wasn't punishing me anymore. He was just living, and doing it better than ever. The moment I broke. Later that night, I walked to the kitchen to make tea. There, on the corkboard above the sink, was the photo of our wedding day, taped crookedly, a bit faded. I hadn't had the strength to throw it away. I stared at Ethan's smile in that photo, genuine, wide, completely unaware of what I'd someday do, and I whispered through a cracked voice, "You didn't deserve any of this." Then I sank to the floor, still clutching the kettle, and cried harder than I ever had, not for what I lost, but for what I ruined. The final message. Weeks later, I received a letter in the mail. No return address, just my name handwritten. Inside was a single piece of paper, a quote printed in Ethan's clean, familiar font. "Some storms don't come to destroy you, they come to clear your path." Below it, a small postscript. "I've walked mine. Now you walk yours." No signature, no venom. Just closure. The aftermath. I don't look for him anymore. I stopped checking social media, stopped asking friends for updates, stopped hoping I might run into him, because I know now his revenge didn't leave scars. It left silence. And in that silence, I finally heard everything I'd refused to listen to for years. I wasn't spared pain. I was made to live with it. Was this revenge perfectly justified? Tell us what you would have done in the comments below. Like the story, share it with someone who needs this energy,